Hi there. Welcome back to PMP Exam Express. I am Mark. We have 50 PMP exam questions. The questions are based on business environment. Before we continue, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. You are also welcome to share the content. Now, let's get into the questions. 1. During project execution, a major competitor announces a new product that could render your project's deliverable less valuable. What should you do first? A. Inform all project stakeholders about the competitor's product. B. Perform a risk assessment to determine the impact on your project. C. Immediately change the project scope to add more features. D. Schedule an urgent meeting with the project team to brainstorm. Answer: B. Perform a risk assessment to determine the impact on your project. Explanation: before taking any action, it is critical to assess how the competitor's product affects the project's value and identify potential risks. Based on the assessment, you can decide on the appropriate next steps. 2. A regulatory change during the execution phase requires significant modifications to your project. What should you do first? A. Pause the project until all changes are fully understood. B. Update the risk register and consult with the project sponsor. C. Proceed with the current project plan and deal with issues later. D. Inform the project team and continue work as normal. Answer: B. Update the risk register and consult with the project sponsor. Explanation: regulatory changes can have major impacts on project outcomes. By updating the risk register and consulting with the sponsor, you can align on the best approach for managing these changes. 3. Your project is nearing completion when a new government policy threatens to impact your deliverables. How should you respond? A. Analyze the policy impact and update the project management plan. B. Rush to complete the project before the policy takes effect. C. Ignore the policy as it is not yet in force. D. Immediately escalate the issue to all stakeholders. Answer: A. Analyze the policy impact and update the project management plan. Explanation: evaluating the impact of the new policy and updating the project plan as necessary ensures that the project remains compliant and relevant. 4. A project sponsor asks you to incorporate a new feature late in the project to respond to a recent market trend. What should you do? A. Agree to the change to please the sponsor. B. Evaluate the impact on the project's schedule, cost, and scope. C. Inform the team to prepare for the new work immediately. D. Reject the change, citing potential delays. Answer: B. Evaluate the impact on the project's schedule, cost, and scope. Explanation: changes should be carefully evaluated for their impact on key project constraints before being approved or rejected. This analysis ensures an informed decision. 5. Midway through your project, a sudden economic downturn affects your organization's budget. What is the best course of action? A. Cancel the project to save resources. B. Conduct a financial risk assessment and reassess project viability. C. Request additional funding from the organization. D. Proceed as planned, hoping the budget issues will be resolved. Answer: B. Conduct a financial risk assessment and reassess project viability. Explanation. A financial risk assessment helps you understand the impact of the economic downturn and make a data-driven decision about how to proceed. 6. While executing a project, new legislation mandates more rigorous safety standards. What should you do? A. Implement the new standards immediately. B. Analyze the impact on the project and update relevant plans. C. File a complaint about the legislation. D. Ignore the change if it doesn't directly affect the current deliverables. Answer. B. Analyze the impact on the project and update relevant plans. Explanation. It is essential to evaluate how the new safety standards affect the project and update the management plan to ensure compliance. 7. Your organization undergoes a significant restructuring affecting project priorities. What should you do first? A. Continue with the current project as planned. B. Reassess the project's alignment with new organizational priorities. C. Assume the project will be canceled and prepare for closeout. D. Request additional resources to adapt to the restructuring. Answer. B. Reassess the project's alignment with new organizational priorities. Explanation. When organizational priorities change, it's crucial to ensure the project remains aligned. This may involve revising objectives or plans. 8. A supplier critical to your project declares bankruptcy. What is your immediate response? A. Identify alternative suppliers and assess the impact on the project. B. Notify the project sponsor and suggest project cancellation. C. Pause the project until a new supplier is found. D. Use the project's contingency reserves to offset the issue. Answer. A. Identify alternative suppliers and assess the impact on the project. Explanation. Finding an alternative supplier is essential to minimize disruptions. Assessing the impact helps determine the best course of action. 9. During project planning, you learn of potential political unrest that could affect project operations. What should you do? A. Incorporate a risk mitigation plan addressing the unrest. B. Assume the unrest will not impact the project and proceed as normal. C. Inform stakeholders that the project should be canceled. D. Transfer the project to a location with no such risks. Answer. A. Incorporate a risk mitigation plan addressing the unrest. Explanation. Identifying and planning for potential risks in advance helps ensure the project is better prepared for unforeseen events. 10. Your project is ahead of schedule, but a new tax law is about to be enacted that will increase costs significantly. What is the best course of action? A. Rush to complete the project before the tax law is implemented. B. Assess the impact of the tax law and consult with the sponsor. C. Request more funding from the organization. D. Ignore the tax law, as it hasn't yet taken effect. Answer. B. Assess the impact of the tax law and consult with the sponsor. Explanation. Understanding the potential cost impact and discussing options with the sponsor helps make a strategic decision about how to proceed. 11. Your team uses a Pareto chart to identify the most common reasons for quality defects. The chart shows that 2 causes account for 75% of the defects. What should you do? A. Focus on the 2 main causes to significantly reduce defects. B. Distribute your efforts evenly across all defect causes. C. Implement minor changes to address all issues. D. Conduct an audit without focusing on specific causes. Answer. A. Focus on the two main causes to significantly reduce defects. Explanation. The Pareto principle suggests addressing the main contributors first to achieve the greatest improvement in quality. 12. Your project team is analyzing risk exposure using a heat map, see below, that categorizes risks based on their probability and impact. Which risks should be prioritized for immediate action? Answer. A. Risk. A. Explanation. Risk A falls into the red zone, indicating a higher overall risk that requires immediate action. Risks in this zone typically have a greater likelihood of significantly impacting the project. 13. You are reviewing a table showing cost performance indices, CPI, for various project phases. What should you focus on to improve cost management in future phases? A. Focus on reducing costs during the testing phase. B. Investigate the reasons for cost savings in the development phase. C. Maintain the current approach for all phases. D. Cut future budgets to compensate for overruns. Answer. A. Focus on reducing costs during the testing phase. Explanation. The testing phase has a low CPI of 0.86, indicating that costs are higher than planned. Identifying the cause and implementing cost controls can improve overall cost performance. 14. You are presented with a stakeholder engagement matrix, see below. Which stakeholder should you engage more frequently to ensure project success? A. Stakeholder. 1. B. Stakeholder. 2. C. Stakeholder. 3. D. All stakeholders equally. Answer. C. Stakeholder. 3. Explanation. Stakeholder 3 has both high interest and high influence, making their engagement critical to the project. Collaborating with them ensures alignment and support. 15. A table outlines various project options along with their expected monetary value, EMV. Which option should be selected to maximize value? A. Option A. B. Option B. C. Option C. D. All options are equal. Answer. B. Option B. Explanation. Option B has the highest EMV at $75,000, indicating the greatest potential value despite its lower probability of success. 16. While planning, you create a table comparing the cost estimates for different suppliers. Which supplier should you choose based on the lowest total cost? A. Supplier A. B. Supplier B. C. Supplier C. D. None of the suppliers. Answer. A. Supplier. A. Explanation. Supplier A has the lowest total cost at $16,000, making it the most cost-effective option for the project. 17. You review a trend graph depicting project cost over time, which shows a steady increase that exceeds the original budget baseline. What is your next step? A. Continue spending and justify the overruns later. B. Perform a root cause analysis to identify reasons for the cost increase. C. Increase the project budget to accommodate the trend. D. Ignore the graph and focus on project deliverables. Answer: B. Perform a root cause analysis to identify reasons for the cost increase. Explanation: Understanding the reasons behind the cost increase is crucial for implementing corrective measures to manage the budget effectively. 18. A bar graph comparing actual versus planned resource utilization highlights significant overallocation in the testing phase. How should you address this issue? A. Reallocate resources from other phases to the testing phase. B. Delay the testing phase to balance resource demands. C. Hire additional resources to manage the overload. D. Allow the overallocation to continue until the phase is complete. Answer: A. Reallocate resources from other phases to the testing phase. Explanation: Balancing resources ensures efficiency and prevents burnout, optimizing overall project performance. (19) A project sponsor asks you to accelerate project delivery without additional resources. What should you consider? A. Implementing schedule compression techniques like crashing or fast tracking. B. Denying the request due to resource limitations. C. Reducing the quality of deliverables to save time. D. Increasing the team's working hours indefinitely. Answer: A. Implementing schedule compression techniques like crashing or fast tracking. Explanation: Crashing and fast tracking are effective ways to shorten the project timeline, but they may increase costs or risks. 20. Midway through project execution, a key competitor launches a similar product. How should you respond? A. Analyze the competitor's product and adjust your strategy if needed. B. Ignore the competitor and proceed as planned. C. Cancel the project to avoid competition. D. Immediately reduce the project budget. Answer: A. Analyze the competitor's product and adjust your strategy if needed. Explanation: Understanding the competitive landscape allows you to make strategic adjustments, ensuring your project remains competitive. 21. Your project is impacted by a sudden change in currency exchange rates, affecting the cost of imported materials. What should you do? A. Update the cost management plan to reflect the new rates. B. Halt all procurement activities until rates stabilize. C. Request additional budget from the project sponsor. D. Shift to domestic suppliers immediately. Answer: A. Update the cost management plan to reflect the new rates. Explanation: Updating the cost management plan ensures that the financial impact of the change is properly documented and managed, allowing for informed decision-making. 22. While reviewing project performance data, you notice a trend indicating that project costs are consistently higher than planned. What should you do? A. Perform a root cause analysis to understand the cost overruns. B. Ignore the trend and hope costs level out. C. Cut project scope to reduce costs. D. Increase the project budget without consulting stakeholders. Answer: A. Perform a root cause analysis to understand the cost overruns. Explanation. Analyzing the cause of cost overruns helps you identify corrective actions and make data-driven adjustments to control costs. 23. A new stakeholder has joined your project and demands changes that could impact the project timeline. What is your first action? A. Implement the changes to keep the stakeholder happy. B. Assess the impact of the changes on the project objectives. C. Add the stakeholder to the communications plan but ignore their demands. D. Reject the changes to protect the project timeline. Answer. B. Assess the impact of the changes on the project objectives. Explanation. Evaluating the impact ensures you understand how the changes will affect the project and allows for informed discussions with stakeholders. 24. Your organization is experiencing budget cuts and your project funding might be reduced. How should you respond? A. Immediately cut non-critical project activities. B. Review the project's business case to justify its continuation. C. Terminate the project to avoid wasting resources. D. Ignore the budget cuts and continue as planned. Answer. B. Review the project's business case to justify its continuation. Explanation. Reviewing the business case helps determine if the project still adds value to the organization, and you can use this information to advocate for maintaining or adjusting funding. 25. A government regulation has changed, affecting one of your project deliverables. What is your next step? A. Update the project scope and inform the team. B. Proceed with the original plan to save time. C. Wait for the sponsor to provide instructions. D. Close the project and start a new one. Answer. A. Update the project scope and inform the team. Explanation. Updating the scope ensures the project remains compliant with regulations, and keeping the team informed ensures alignment on necessary changes. 26. The project team identifies a technological advancement that could improve project efficiency. What should you do? A. Integrate the new technology immediately. B. Perform a cost-benefit analysis to evaluate its feasibility. C. Reject the advancement to avoid risks. D. Delay the project to study the new technology further. Answer B. Perform a cost-benefit analysis to evaluate its feasibility. Explanation. Analyzing the costs and benefits helps you determine if the new technology will provide enough value to justify its implementation. 27. Your client requests additional features for the project deliverable, but these features are not in the original scope. What is your first step? A. Implement the features to maintain client satisfaction. B. Initiate a change request to formally evaluate the impact. C. Refuse the request to stay within scope. D. Reduce other features to accommodate the new ones. Answer. B. Initiate a change request to formally evaluate the impact. Explanation. A change request ensures the new features are assessed for impact on scope, schedule, and budget, and stakeholders can decide on the best course of action. 28. During risk monitoring, you realize a previously low-priority risk is now highly likely to occur. What should you do? A. Update the risk register and implement the risk response plan. B. Ignore the risk since it was initially low priority. C. Terminate the project to avoid the risk. D. Assign the risk to another team member. Answer: A. Update the risk register and implement the risk response plan. Explanation: reassessing and addressing the risk ensures the project team is prepared to minimize its impact, keeping the project on track. 29. Your project is facing delays due to a supplier's inability to deliver on time. What is your first course of action? A. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor immediately. B. Use a pre-approved alternative supplier if available. C. Terminate the contract with the supplier. D. Ignore the delay and hope the supplier recovers. Answer: B. Use a pre-approved alternative supplier if available. Explanation: having alternative suppliers ensures continuity in case of delays and minimizes the impact on the project schedule. 30. Your project is nearing completion, but a major stakeholder is unhappy with some deliverables. What should you do? A. Conduct a stakeholder review meeting to address concerns. B. Finalize the project to meet the deadline, regardless of feedback. C. Redesign the deliverables from scratch. D. Assign blame to the team for the issues. Answer: A. Conduct a stakeholder review meeting to address concerns. Explanation: engaging the stakeholder to understand and resolve concerns ensures project outcomes meet expectations and can foster better relationships. 31. During the closeout phase of your project, you are conducting a review to ensure that all deliverables meet the acceptance criteria. What should you do next once the customer has accepted the final deliverables? A. Release team members from the project. B. Archive project documentation. C. Conduct a stakeholder analysis. D. Update the lessons learned register. Answer: B. Archive project documentation. Explanation: after the customer accepts the deliverables, project documentation must be archived for future reference or audits. While team members may be released later and lessons learned need to be captured, archiving documents ensures that proper records are maintained for organizational knowledge. 32. A major change in environmental regulations may impact your project. What should be your next step as a project manager? A. Inform all project stakeholders immediately. B. Assess the impact of the new regulations on your project. C. Revise the project schedule to accommodate changes. D. Put the project on hold until further notice. Answer: B. Assess the impact of the new regulations on your project. Explanation: it is crucial to first understand how the change will affect your project. Once the impact is assessed, you can develop an appropriate plan to address any necessary adjustments. 33. Your project is currently in the execution phase and an unexpected organizational restructuring has been announced, potentially affecting project resources. What should you do first? A. Request a change in project scope. B. Update the risk register and inform the project sponsor. C. Review the resource management plan to assess the impact. D. Release resources that are no longer needed. Answer: C. Review the resource management plan to assess the impact. Explanation: reviewing the resource management plan helps you understand how the restructuring will impact your project and allows you to plan resource adjustments accordingly before escalating the issue. 34. You are working on a project affected by fluctuating market conditions which may influence stakeholder expectations. What is the best approach to manage this situation? A. Conduct regular stakeholder engagement meetings. B. Revise the project scope to accommodate changes. C. Update the project charter. D. Delay the project until the market stabilizes. Answer: A. Conduct regular stakeholder engagement meetings. Explanation: Engaging stakeholders regularly ensures you are aware of their expectations and can address concerns or make adjustments promptly, even in uncertain conditions. 35. Your team has identified a new risk related to potential supply chain disruptions. What is the next action you should take? A. Develop a risk response plan. B. Communicate the risk to the project sponsor. C. Ignore the risk if it has a low probability of occurring. D. Accelerate project activities to mitigate the risk. Answer: A. Develop a risk response plan. Explanation: Creating a risk response plan allows you to prepare for the potential impact of the supply chain disruption, ensuring proactive management of the risk. 36. During a project status meeting, a key stakeholder requests a change that could increase the project budget significantly. What should you do first? A. Implement the change immediately to maintain stakeholder satisfaction. B. Evaluate the impact of the change on the project scope, schedule, and budget. C. Reject the change to keep the budget intact. D. Ask the project sponsor to make the final decision. Answer: B. Evaluate the impact of the change on the project scope, schedule, and budget. Explanation: Evaluating the change ensures you understand its full implications before proceeding. This assessment will help inform stakeholders and guide decision-making. 37. Your project team has completed a major deliverable, but a regulatory change now requires additional compliance checks. What is your next step? A. Submit a change request for the additional work. B. Ignore the regulatory change since the deliverable is complete. C. Reassign team members to other tasks. D. Update the lessons learned register. Answer: A. Submit a change request for the additional work. Explanation: A change request is necessary to formally document and approve the additional work required to ensure compliance with the new regulations. 38. A competitor has launched a new product that could affect the business case for your project. How should you respond? A. Conduct a market analysis to reassess the project's value. B. Cancel the project immediately. C. Accelerate project execution to gain a competitive edge. D. Delay the project until the market stabilizes. Answer: A. Conduct a market analysis to reassess the project's value. Explanation: A market analysis will help determine whether the project is still viable or if adjustments are needed to remain competitive. 39. You have identified that a major supplier is experiencing financial difficulties which may impact your project. What should you do first? A. Secure an alternative supplier. B. Update the project risk register and develop a contingency plan. C. Request an increase in the project budget. D. Continue with the current supplier until issues materialize. Answer: B. Update the project risk register and develop a contingency plan. Explanation: Documenting the risk and creating a contingency plan prepares you to respond if the supplier fails to deliver as expected, minimizing potential project disruptions. 40. The project sponsor informs you of an upcoming organizational change that could impact project funding. How should you prepare? A. Accelerate all project activities before funding is affected. B. Put the project on hold until funding is confirmed. C. Review the project's business case and prepare for possible changes. D. Request additional funding immediately. Answer: C. Review the project's business case and prepare for possible changes. Explanation: Reviewing the business case allows you to understand the impact of the potential funding changes and prepare accordingly, ensuring you can adapt if necessary. 41. During project execution, you discover that a key regulatory requirement was missed in the planning phase. What should you do? A. Stop the project and replan from scratch. B. Implement corrective actions to ensure compliance. C. Ignore the requirement and proceed. D. Assign blame to the team members responsible. Answer: B. Implement corrective actions to ensure compliance. Explanation: Taking corrective actions to meet regulatory requirements is crucial to avoid legal issues and ensure project success. 42. A project deliverable failed to meet a key performance metric, and the client is unhappy. What is the best approach to address this? A. Conduct a root cause analysis and propose corrective actions. B. Offer the client a discount as compensation. C. Ignore the issue and focus on future deliverables. D. Blame the team for poor performance. Answer: A. Conduct a root cause analysis and propose corrective actions. Explanation: Identifying the root cause and proposing corrective actions demonstrates a commitment to quality and client satisfaction. 43. Your project's business environment analysis indicates potential new risks due to upcoming economic changes. What should you do? A. Update the project risk register with these new risks. B. Ignore the changes as they may not materialize. C. Delay the project until the economy stabilizes. D. Increase the project budget as a precaution. Answer: A. Update the project risk register with these new risks. Explanation: Keeping the risk register up to date ensures all potential risks are documented and can be monitored or mitigated if necessary. 44. Your organization decides to prioritize sustainability, which could influence project objectives. How should you handle this? A. Revise the project objectives to align with the new organizational goals. B. Continue with the original objectives until instructed otherwise. C. Request additional resources to meet sustainability requirements. D. Cancel the project and start a new one focused on sustainability. Answer: A. Revise the project objectives to align with the new organizational goals. Explanation: Adapting project objectives to reflect new organizational priorities ensures the project remains relevant and adds value. 45. A new law affecting your industry is about to take effect, and your project might be impacted. What should you do first? A. Conduct a legal review to understand the implications. B. Put the project on hold until the law takes effect. C. Request additional resources to prepare for the change. D. Terminate the project to avoid non-compliance. Answer: A. Conduct a legal review to understand the implications. Explanation: understanding the impact of the new law ensures you can make informed decisions about necessary adjustments to the project. 46. A recent merger in your industry has created new opportunities and risks for your project. How should you proceed? A. Conduct a SWOT analysis to evaluate the impact. B. Ignore the merger unless instructed by the sponsor. C. Change the project scope to seize opportunities. D. Delay the project until the industry stabilizes. Answer: A. Conduct a SWOT analysis to evaluate the impact. Explanation: a SWOT analysis helps you identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, allowing you to adjust the project strategy as needed. 47. Your project team identifies a new stakeholder group that could influence project outcomes. What should you do? A. Add the stakeholder group to the stakeholder register and assess their influence. B. Ignore the stakeholder group if they have not expressed concerns. C. Delay the project to engage with the new stakeholders. D. Modify the project deliverables to meet their expectations immediately. Answer: A. Add the stakeholder group to the stakeholder register and assess their influence. Explanation: including new stakeholders in the register and assessing their impact ensures they are appropriately managed and engaged throughout the project. 48. A project risk assessment reveals that your project could face significant delays if a key assumption proves false. What is the best course of action? A. Develop a contingency plan for the assumption risk. B. Ignore the risk and focus on current tasks. C. Delay the project until the assumption is confirmed. D. Reassign resources to non-critical tasks. Answer: A. Develop a contingency plan for the assumption risk. Explanation: preparing a contingency plan ensures you have a strategy in place if the assumption turns out to be incorrect, minimizing potential delays. 49. You are analyzing the Pareto chart above that displays the frequency of issues reported by stakeholders. The chart shows Issue A as the most frequent. What should be your first course of action? A. Investigate Issue E since it occurs the least frequently. B. Focus efforts on resolving Issue A first. C. Spread resources evenly to address all issues. D. Ignore Issue A if it doesn't impact project outcomes. Answer: B. Focus efforts on resolving Issue A first. Explanation: the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, emphasizes prioritizing efforts on the issues with the highest impact, which in this case is Issue A. 50. The bar graph above shows the productivity levels of different teams over 3 months. Team C's productivity dropped significantly in month 3. What should be your next step? A. Reassign members from Team C to Team A. B. Conduct a root cause analysis to identify why Team C's productivity declined. C. Increase the workload of Team B to balance the output. D. Schedule additional team building activities for all teams. Answer: B. Conduct a root cause analysis to identify why Team C's productivity declined. Explanation: understanding the reason behind the drop in productivity is crucial to addressing the issue effectively and improving Team C's performance. That's a wrap. We did all 50 questions. How well did you do? Let me know in the comment section below. Please like our content and subscribe. We will meet on the next video. Take care.